minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back, too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I'm just flicking around the channels right now, and the first thing I see here is a one-on-one interview with the coach of the Edmonton Oilers. As I've stated, these guys do way too much media. It's unbelievable. It's like, he's in like a hotel room right now doing a one-on-one. It's like, bro, just like enough. Like, just don't do it. Like, just say, listen.
The answer's no.
I do the press conferences. We do the availabilities. Like more. Like he's getting interviewed by Sportsnet now, and Elliot Friedman and Ron McLean on an off day. Right? It's like the off day even. You know what I'm saying? Like, They got a couple of off days, but they should stop with the constant media appearances. We've talked about it throughout the entire playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, so let's do a quick check into baseball. We'll bring Paul Bovey in a second here. The D-backs are up 4-2 right now on the Angels in the bottom of the fourth inning. They're minus 600. The Angels are plus 400. 11.5 is the total. The Friars are losing to the Athletics. Low-scoring game, 1-0 Oakland. It's minus 115 for both teams right now. The total is 4.5. The White Sox continue to hang on to this 3-2 lead over the Mariners. The Mariners do have a runner on first. There's 2 out in the bottom of the fifth inning. In-game total is 8.5. The Mariners are currently plus 100. White Sox minus 130. The City Connect trend might come to an end tonight. The Astros are up 3-1 on the Giants. That's in the bottom of the fifth. The Giants are plus 265. The Astros are minus 340, minus 1.5, minus 165. And the Dodgers scored 3 in the first. They haven't scored since. The Rangers have scored 1. It's 3-1 LA. In the top of the fourth inning, the Dodgers are minus 550, and the total is 9.5 in this game right now. Let's bring in Paul Bovey, talk some NBA Finals, little Stanley Cup. How you doing tonight, Paul? Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday night. We're preempted due to the basketball game tomorrow night. We come on after the game, so I figured it'd be a good time to get you on tonight. Thanks for doing it.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. I appreciate going on a Tuesday. And guys, look, our Florida Panthers doing great at 2-0, but unfortunately the Mavericks not living up to expectations right now. But I feel we can get back into the series, and I'm smitten with quite a few props here.
I feel the same way, and I just talked about it. You know, I do think that the Edmonton Oilers are probably going to win Game 3 on Thursday night, but I'm more confident in the Dallas Mavericks winning, going back home. Right, the Florida Panthers are just playing such great hockey. I don't really think it matters where it is. I do think there's going to be a massive emotional swing for the Mavericks back home, specifically, Paul, for Kyrie Irving. 13 of 37 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. I don't think you expected that. I didn't expect this. Kyrie's got ice in his veins. To him to only score 16 and 12 points in the 2 games, they can't win like that. And they've got to do better with free throws. But I do have a good feeling about the Mavericks tomorrow, that everything will just sort of fall into place for them. And Porzingis will be out tomorrow too.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about Kyrie, he's dribbling way too much. In a perfect world, the ball does not touch the floor. And he actually reminds me a little bit right now of Carmelo Anthony. The ball is just stopping, and worse, he's not scoring. So, yes, they have to do better. White and Holiday have done a fantastic job shutting him down. But one thing I want to point out, if Porzingis is out, and I expect him to be, 279 of 494. This is what the Cavs and the Pacers converted inside the paint in these last 2 series when Porzingis was out. That's a 56.5% clip. What's the difference between a 1-1 series right now and a 2-0 series that we stand at the present time? And that is free throws, because last game, the Mavs were 16 of 24. The Celtics were 19 of 20. Then you had kind of a suspect call when P.J. Washington went in for that layup that would have.
He was pushed in the back. Yeah, let's be real. He was pushed.
He was pushed in the back. That would have cut the lead to 103-100 potentially if he converted those free throws. And you have, at that point, sure, the Celtics are still going to be a favorite to win the game, but it's one of those things where you never know how it plays out. So I just think the Mavericks have to make a couple changes, a couple improvements. 13 of 53 from beyond the arc, unacceptable. 28 of 43 from the stripe, also unacceptable. They have to do better, and I think that they will, especially with the big man out in the middle.
Guys, we see in the regular season in the NBA, a team can get up by 16 points after the first quarter, and it doesn't really mean very much, right? You know, teams will blow the lead, the other team will go on a run. When you get to the finals and you get into the playoffs and you go further in, you see just how important the first quarters are. Look at the first quarter of game 1. That game was over, right? Yep. Dallas were overwhelmed, punched, it was done. They got knocked out in the second round of a fight type of deal. They got beat up in the first and knocked out in the second. In the second quarter, the game was over, and that's that. They battled. They came out. They played better in game 2, but it wasn't enough. They need to come out tomorrow, Paul, with that. You know what? We're dropping, 38 points. We're going to be up 38-23 after the first tomorrow type of deal. They need to play with urgency from the opening tip-off. And you just said it, too. I know it sounded kind of cliche when they said to Luka, what do you guys need to do to get back in the series? He said, we need to stop turning the ball over, hit some shots, and make our free throws. And look, they missed 8 free throws. They lost the game by 7 points, guys. An NBA team, you can't be missing 8 free throws in the NBA Finals.
As a guy that shoots free throws, I will tell you that Luka's free throw shooting bothers me. And I know I shouldn't, who am I to criticize Luka, but there's no arc on it. And I don't get it. He converts them, don't get me wrong. He's like 78% to 80% in the playoffs, but man, he has a very flat shot. And yeah, they can't miss 8 free throws. I think those guys in the middle are going to have a much greater impact, being Gafford and Lively with Porzingis out. They made that run when KP went out. And the first game, they only had collectively 7 rebounds. And in the second game, the most recent loss, they had 16. They played 42 minutes versus 32 minutes in the first game. I think you're going to see those guys log a lot of minutes here, pull down a lot of rebounds. I think if you play both these guys over, you're going to probably cash both tickets or have a good shot at cashing both tickets. You've actually done that in the most recent games 6 times and only lost both of them once, and that was the first game of this series. So Look for these guys to step up, both in terms of point production and off the boards.
I agree. I think that the role player is going to be much better. We went over some of the numbers on the other side. We'll get Paul Bovey's props for tomorrow night's game, some of the props that he's already played. And I talked about the role players being better. Washington's prop is 14.5. He's been pretty aggressive. The shots just really haven't fallen for him, but I do think he's going to be much better tomorrow. But as far as Kyrie is concerned, you talk about him dribbling too much, indecisive. I don't know if it was because he's in Boston and he's caught up with the fans talking trash to him and it rattles him. I mean, he's lost 12 straight games there now. But Kyrie's one of the best ever at taking it to the rack and finishing it and getting to the free throw line. And he hasn't been doing it. He's settling for these sort of long-range two-point shots. They're not falling for him. Normally he hits them as well. He was rattled in Boston. I'm going to play him tomorrow. I'm going to play the over 23.5 points with Kyrie Irving tomorrow, Paul. You know what? I've already lost with him in the series. I'm going to go back. And listen, if he doesn't go off tomorrow, then they're in a lot of trouble.
That's the gambler mentality. Like, he owes me, so I'm going to come back and play it again.
Oh, he does. He does.
Well, he went from 12 to 16, so now I'm expecting 24.
Exactly.
You know, he's only gone to the free throw line twice in this series, which is, really eye-opening. So he's got to do better.
Baffling. More of a goal on the other side.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
There's so much talk about Caitlin Clark all the time, and now the U.S. Olympic stuff, and there's always, daily controversy and the daily media hot take situation. It kind of flying under the radar is the Las Vegas Aces. I brought it up earlier about how they're struggling a little bit suddenly, and they generally don't. I mean, we're talking about the 2-time defending champions. We talked about it earlier in the year where I said they're overpriced, though. Right? Like, the odds makers respect them so much. They were laying like 16.5, 18.5. And they were not only not covering, they were losing. And now tonight, it was a big game tonight in Vegas. against the Minnesota Lynx, and the Lynx are winning 65-51.
They're killing
Not just
the game.
beating them, they're smoking them in Vegas.
And know what the crazy thing was? The live line went to 4.5 because of the respect for the Las Vegas Aces, and that line was way out of whack because you see these guys are not just leading, they're extending the lead. Let's give the Lynx a lot of credit, Renzi. They're an 8-3 basketball team right now. They're on their way up in the league, and it's very shocking. Great point. We talk about the Aces. No team has bigger inflated lines than Las Vegas. But, hey, when you're the best for years, sometimes these guys are a little bit slow coming back in the WNBA, but they've been fade material all season long, buddy.
Yeah, and this could open up the door for the New York Liberty, who are absolutely loaded and stacked as far as talent is concerned. But the WNBA, have you dabbled in the WNBA at all, Paul? You're a big basketball bettor. Have you gotten into it at all?
You know, I've played 2 games this year. I've split them. All I do is play live because I have to be straight up with you. I really haven't put the work in. But playing live, you can just kind of assess the ebbs and flows of the game. And I played a few totals, and one of them worked out. And in fact, the one that did not work out was the other night on the Liberty game. I forgot who they were playing. I went over in the second half, and anyway, the game flattened out late, and Liberty won comfortably. So, but anyway, yeah, it's entertaining at the very least.
All right, let's get to Paul's props for tomorrow. So let's start off with the Dallas Mavericks. First half, we were just talking about how the Mavericks need to start off strong, punch the Celtics in the mouth early, get the crowd behind them, try to get a double-digit lead going. And you're taking a look at the Dallas Mavericks first half team total, Paul.
Yeah, I think they're going to score. And I'm looking at that stat with the Celtics having relinquished 56.5% inside the arc to these 2 teams that were without key players in the Cavaliers, who didn't have Donovan Mitchell for 2 of the games, and Jared Allen as well. And then Halliburton was out for the Pacers. So I think Dallas is going to be the beneficiary of a few calls. You know how the NBA works. They want to ref teams back into games, ref them back into series. It would be beneficial for them to stretch this out. Nobody wants to see a 3-0. 3-0 is basically, it is lights out in the NBA, so the series would be over. So I think that Dallas will score points in the first half, and they will score points in the game. I played both team totals over, and I think those are solid plays along with the Mavericks, which I sent you the ticket. And I know, Cam, you got a better number. I got one right at the gun as soon as the game game 2 ended. So I'm in with a favorable line.
Well,
it's 2.5 now.
Yeah, exactly. I got like Paul Gabe. I got it right when it came out because you know how I feel. I got Boston game 1 series, but Paul, how do you attack the series price stuff we talked about, right? Because right now you're getting Dallas at 5-1 or maybe better on some offshores. So what do you do with this? If you're going to take them in game 3, you got to sprinkle a little bit on the series play. Say they split, then you got that in your back pocket. How do you attack that?
Yeah, but Cam, I'm already invested in the series. And unfortunately, unlike yourself, I'm invested on the wrong side. So I don't want to go in any deeper than I'm in right now. I'll be happy to come out with a win, get back in the series. And I'm kind of doubling up here because since I'm invested into the Mavericks tomorrow night as well, I already have a play there. So I'm going to take a step back. But of course, if you're on the Celtics, hey, you might want to just hedge your position because I've seen this happen so many times. Teams go up 2-0, all of a sudden, comfortable lead, and sometimes they even blow the series. So sometimes it does make sense to take the dog and cover your outlay.
And we've seen that a lot in this edition of the NBA playoffs, actually, guys, too, right? Remember Minnesota and Denver were just sort of reverse trends. And I brought it up earlier, too. I don't think Dallas are going to win the series. I think Boston are still going to win, but I still think Dallas legitimately can win the next 2 games. And then Boston wins in maybe 6, maybe 7 still. I don't think this is going to be a quick series. Let's talk about Derek Lively. And we're talking about the role player stepping up at home. Paul, Derek Lively, over under 6.5 rebounds is a play you already put in. And you got a plus money at plus 116.
Yeah, I got a plus 116. It's such a great number. I got a little at 5.5, laying $1.45. So I leaned heavily more on the plus money side, just because I don't like laying $1.43. It's not a winning proposition when it comes to gambling, but there's a chance he could be right around that number, as he has been several times throughout the course of the playoffs. So I did play a little at the 5.5. I went over the 6.5. I think he could easily, and he's already hit double digits on several occasions during these playoffs, he could easily get to 10 or better. So, yes, I went Lively over. I also went Gafford over, who's been revving up of late. He had a nice game in game 2. And again, with KP out, I think these guys in the middle are going to be much more prominent than they have been, especially in game 1, where they were a non-factor.
I like how us Dallas Maverick backers in the series, before the series started, Cam, it was like, well, no one knows what Kristaps Porzingis is even going to do. No one knows if he'll, you know what I mean? What impact will he have? He goes off, but we were right in a way when we said he probably won't survive the series, and he didn't. So he got hurt, but he did have an impact, and now it's back to, well, you know, they're missing Kristaps, right? It could be a problem for them. To me, it's just about the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks play their game. You know, the Boston Celtics aren't sweeping them. They're not 4 games better than the Mavericks are. The Mavericks need to hit their freaking free throws, calm down early, get out to a strong start. They'll be just fine tomorrow. We'll hit the Stanley Cup with Paul on the other side.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at SixScore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I saw something really interesting. Let's do it. We got another best of X here. I've been talking a lot about how there's a lot of similarities between the Panthers and the Celtics. They've both been there before. They're both showing a killer instinct. They're playing smarter than they did in previous, in these spots before. And there's always things in sports that blow your mind, like LeBron James and Steph Curry being born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. Just so, so random. And this is something that's pretty interesting and pretty cool as well, that it's amazing their timeline that they're on the path to potentially both winning at the same time. Let's roll it. High school classmates, 2 wins away from a championship. Jason Tatum and Matthew Tkachuk. Jason Tatum is from St. Louis, and Matthew Tkachuk grew up in St. Louis in high school because his father was on the Blues at the time.
Wow. That's fascinating. I like that.
Yeah, but not
parlay.
only like the same school, like there's a video of them in class together,
Like,
actually saying, "Hi, I'm Jason. I'm Matthew." Like,
imagine those guys in interview sports game. Like we're like, oh man, here comes Tkachuk, and then like, bam, we're dead. That'd be
that's
tough.
unbelievable
That's
that they're
wild.
both like could win a championship in the first time ever in the same week. Unbelievable, huh,
High
Paul?
school class. The class is shit.
It's really great.
That's wild.
Like just bizarro world. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't think you know everything. I didn't know. And for the record, they're both pulling for each other, of course. So Tkachuk says he's watching all the games, and Tatum's pulling for the Panthers. And they're talking about how they both want to bring the trophy back to the high school and stuff, and what a day would be at that school.
Both trophies, yeah. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, the Stanley Cup and the Larry
I
O'Brien.
gotta be honest with you, Gabe. I don't think that's ever happened before. You haven't had the Stanley Cup and the Larry O'Brien trophy in the same place at the same time. No way. What are the odds?
No, I don't think so. No. Only in promo shots on TV. Never were like both the same. If they both brought it back the same day type of
Correct.
deal. But
Graphics,
yeah,
not
big deal. Yeah, St. Louis. That's some pretty crazy stuff right there. So, Paul, the Florida Panthers have looked great. And we talked about this last night. I still think I like the Mavericks more to get back in the series just because I think the Panthers are so good right now. But I still think that the Oilers can win. They win on Thursday. Then, let's see what happens on Saturday. But with all that being stated, looking at this from a betting perspective, if the Florida Panthers win, and it looks like they're going to, it's going to be Bobrovsky, right? And Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe Trophy is only minus 150. So instead, right now, it's unbelievable. Like the Florida Panthers are minus 500 to win the series, but Bobrovsky's minus 150 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, which is the MVP, which I think he will. It's a good way to get in on the Panthers if you haven't already, Paul, like me, which I haven't.
Yeah, I don't see the Florida Panther train being derailed here. So, yeah, that's certainly some value because laying 500, obviously there is no value, nor was there value laying 235 on the puck line with Edmonton. I don't know who's going to lay 235 last night with the dog, and I think I made a comment in one of your tweets. It just made absolutely no sense, especially given the fact that, look, there's the potential for those empty net goals, which is exactly what happened last night. Edmonton did not hesitate to pull the goalie with 5.5 minutes to go, but of course they were down 2. But yeah, that's a good way to get involved. I see Florida winning this series, and I don't see it going to 7 games at all. They are the better team. They have the better goalie.
And Gabe, the great point that you bring up about Florida is every day it's a different guy, right? Even though Bobrovsky, he has been their best player due to the shutout in Game 1. Verhaeghe will score the first goal. Tkachuk is a great all-around player. Barkov is the man who covers Connor McDavid, who's probably the best two-way player in the National Hockey League. So you said there's 5 or 6 guys that eat each other's pie, and you go, oh, that leaves the goaltender. And at 50 cents, that seems like a damn good price for a guy that has literally let in, like, what? How many goals? 1? Right? You know what I'm saying?
One goal in 2 games. He's going to win it. Like, it's surprising.
Yes.
Look, on our screen, it was minus 200, so it's going up lots right now. But I think that is the way to do it, and my parlay wins. I get paid early for it. The Dodgers are up by 5, so I get paid for the $10 for $468. But what's cool is I also played each 7 games individually as well. Wow. So I hit the 7 games, and I hit the parlay on top. Money!
minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, a quick baseballs check here. The Dodgers are up 6-1. They're rolling the Texas Rangers. Astros are up 3-1 on the Giants. It's minus 850 for the Stros. We're always looking for that comeback, late at night here on the show. San Francisco are plus 525. Only down 2 runs, actually. That's actually not a bad bet. But the thing is, I'm already on San Francisco. We're also unbelievable. The total was looking like it was going to go over tonight in Seattle. It's slowed down. It's still 3-2. But we saw what happened last night. There were 8 runs in the last 2 innings of the game. So, right, there's who knows? I think the Mariners are still a good play, guys, at plus 135 in the bottom of the 7th inning here coming up. San Diego have taken a 3-1 lead on Oakland. They're now minus 650, and it's 5-3 for the D-backs over the Angels. The Angels sometimes do come back, but they're better coming back at home. They're plus 475 on the money line right now, only down 2 runs. Paul Bovey's still with us. He's got a couple of more props he wants to share with us, and we're glad to hear them. What else are you looking at, Paul, tomorrow in the NBA Finals?
Actually one. And I went with this last game. I got better value last game on the strength of an 0-for-7 performance by Peyton Pritchard from Beyond the Arc. Peyton Pritchard played every single regular season game this year and each and every one in the playoffs. He's gone 77-20 over a half of a three-point shot conversion, okay? So his number is set at 0.5. Last game it was minus $1.64, but even at minus 190, minus 195, this is plus EV, because if you lose 40 units on the losses, you'll pick up an extra 17 units or whatever it is on the wins. So my feeling is that if you go Peyton Pritchard over a half a three-point conversion, you're probably going to cash a ticket. And I like the fact that he's on the road. Sometimes the pressure just lifts a little bit when you're away from home. Again, that 0-7, then he goes 0-for-1, and then he hits that rainbow at the end of the third quarter, which got me the cash. But I think you'll see him shoot. He's reliable in that regard. He normally averages 3.5 to 4 shots a game, and that should get you a win.
Paul, before I get you out of here, what were your thoughts on the Belmont Stakes from Saratoga?
I have to tell you, this, as I told Cam, this was the lightest Belmont Stakes or Triple Crown race I was invested into in a very long time. I'll put it to you this way. I had about 40 times to 50 times the amount on the previous race, the 9-horse, which I did give out on Twitter. But sometimes you just can't find anything that you're really enamored with. And the key to winning in horse racing is sitting back and picking spots and coming in heavy when you really like something. Because if you play every race, that 17% takeout is just going to grind you right down. You really have to pick your spots. So I wanted to force something, and I kept looking for something to play. And I ended up on the 4-horse, who got absolutely mauled around the turn. As you know, there was a lot of traffic issues, and he was the unfortunate, not one of the beneficiaries of any kind of race in that race.
The wine steward, Paul. My namesake there. He looked good, and he got smoked, Gabe, on the turn. And Dornock got very lucky. He's the one, he avoided traffic in that race. And 10, the mind frame, he went sideways down the stretch of that race. I go, he's gone. He's going to win, but he started going sideways, and by the time he got it back, he lost by a half length. Welcome to horse racing.
We had Caitlin Free on. Caitlin called it again, in which she said it'll be Seize the Gray and Dornock that'll just totally set the speed. Yet it was unbelievable that Dornock was able to maintain it, actually. Right? Sierra Leone got caught up in traffic as well. Like you guys said, coming out of the gates, everyone crashed into each other. It was like a demolition derby. And then it happened again around another turn. All the races, there was a lot of contact in this in all the Triple Crown races, but this one was a demolition derby.
But Gabe, the gate is kind of standard. It's the status quo. There's always banging around the gate. But what you don't see is what you saw in that race. Coming around the turn, Wine Steward was making a minor move. I don't think he would have finished in the money, but certainly he would have been at least in some kind of contention to get a piece of the purse, and that just didn't happen. Several horses got wiped out. And, in these races, the bar is raised for any objection or disqualification. They just don't even bother with it. They let it go.
Yeah, they don't want controversy. Remember a couple of years ago, the Kentucky Derby, it took forever to decide after. This year, there was a lot of contact in the Kentucky Derby, and they looked the other way. Paul Bovey. Paul, it's always a pleasure. Let's get it done tomorrow with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm on a lot of the same stuff you are tomorrow. Let's roll.
All right, let's do it, guys. Thanks a lot.
There's Paul Bovey with his great stuff with Paul. I didn't go crazy with the race as well. I just played a trifecta. That was it. Because I was like, man, I don't know who's going to win. I sort of rolled the dice with what I liked. And I was in the mix, right? They were all right there. But I didn't think Dornock, and congratulations to Jason Worth. Unbelievable. Jason Worth, a World Series champion, now a Belmont Stakes winner as well.
Some people got it home, Morency. Yeah, no, I had the 10 horse, and I thought that horse was going to win their mind frame. And just down the stretch, started to go sideways. It was kind of weird. Pletcher talked about it. Didn't get a perfect trip, but that's life. We have golf, Gabe, this Thursday. I found a very interesting thing on a sports book that hasn't been taken off. The same odds for the same guys, minus some very, very important news that we'll share with the listeners. And you're a guy that can capitalize this right now. And I don't know what they're going to do at the end of it, but usually they change the tote board, but they haven't yet with the John Rahm injury. He will not be playing in the U.S. Open due to a foot injury. He has withdrawn, but a lot of these things are still lingering at the same number in certain category bets and matchup bets and other things like that. So I don't know if the book's going to void them, but what I've seen right now, I had bets on certain guys and they have not voided them yet. So, and the numbers have stayed the same, which is very shocking to me.
If there's one player that things have really not gone well for him since he's gone to the Live Tour, it's John Rahm. Right? He was surprised about the reaction, the overreaction, because he was so vocal about never doing it. I'm already rich enough. And then he turns around and does it, which whatever, it's his call, but don't come out and be the holier than thou guy for a bunch of years before that. Yeah. And he had the Champions dinner at the Masters, but other than that, no one really talked to him. he was surprised even. He goes, man, a lot of people are sort of like ignoring me even. I didn't expect this. Now he's missing a major. He didn't play well in these other majors. He hasn't had a good year and a half here. He's super rich though. You got $300 million. But like, and it's crazy because he was sort of like Scheffler before. Imagine if Rahm stayed on the PGA Tour, the battle that he would have with Scheffler right now. And the PGA Tour would be better for it, but he left just for the money, and he could have been making a ton of money anyways on the PGA Tour, and he would have been in the forefront of this, and it would have been the best new rivalry in golf, right? Scotty Scheffler versus John Rahm.
Isn't it crazy how John Rahm and Brooks Koepka went to LIV and they have not been as good, where LIV has actually saved Bryson DeChambeau? Completely opposite of what people thought that was going to happen. He was an afterthought. Now he's the guy playing the best on the LIV Tour, which is kind of crazy, where Rahm and Koepka have kind of like, meh, especially Rahm. Good point.
It's interesting that nobody believed in Xander. We bet him for years. He finally gets it done and he finally wins. Now he's the second choice. He's 10-1 to win this week after Scotty Scheffler's plus 300. And man, plus 300 in the U.S. Open, that's unheard of unless your name is Tiger Woods before.
Yep. You're right, Gabe. And this course is going to play absolutely crazy with the undulations and stuff. It's going to be a patience game. And one thing Scheffler has, he's got like a pulse, always flat, never gets rattled. So should be a great U.S. Open.
You can't bet him to win at plus 300.
I will not, no.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Jordan on Twitter says, nice hit, Morency, on the parlay. Time to take that and put it on Brooks Koepka to win at 24-1. Although I don't really like Koepka. I said earlier that I like Bryson at 18-1. I think it's a pretty good number. And in fact, I think there's even an odds boost to like 22-1 or something like that for Bryson. Let me see. I think I can get it better than 18. No, let's see. Scotty Scheffler, each way, extra 3 places is plus 450. Top 10 finish, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau, 896. That's not bad, just because it was plus 62. So you're getting it bumped up to nearly plus 900. Scotty Scheffler should be top 10. Bryson, I think, will be top 10. Rory, I don't know about, and Rory's always got something going on. Now he's getting back together with his wife. He's not getting divorced after all. So maybe he'll be in a good mood this week. Brooks Koepka, 25-1, boosted from 22-1. Top 40 finishes. Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, so the Canadians. Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, and Mackenzie Hughes, 12-1. Top 40. Not really. You know what? I like the top 10 one here. I'll play this one for a little bit. Scotty Scheffler, top 10. Rory, top 10. Bryson, top 10. I'll play that at plus 896.
I have no problem with that one, Gabe. And there's a few other good ones. And let me tell you guys out there, like one person's going to win the golf tournament, but we talk about juice and betting on other sports, Gabe. Scotty Scheffler, for a top 5, including ties on the site that you're talking about, is minus 120. I've looked around. I'm on about 6, minus 150 I found, minus 160, 55, 45. That price is incredible for a top 5. This guy has finished top 10 in 14 of the last 15. Like, he's basically winning or coming in the top 5. So when you only have to lay 20 cents, and we lay more than that in regular sporting events, that is an absolute steal. Scheffler top 5 in ties. But I'm with you. To win the tournament at 3-1 in this type of field, it's very difficult. We will see what happens. Hopefully one of our guys is in the mix, and if Scheffler's around, we might have to hedge. But, I'm not betting him at 3-1.
One thing we've seen about Xander Schauffele, it took him a while to win his first major, but he did. But it hasn't taken him a while to be in the top 10 in these majors. He's a top 10 machine. And you're getting plus money with Xander. Plus 130, top 10 for Xander. Xander Schauffele, top 20 is minus 160. Scheffler, top 5, minus 120. Top 10 is minus 225. Man, that's crazy. Minus 225 to be top 10. I'm just going to play him in that odds boost. I don't want to get too crazy with it, but you love this top 5 at minus 120. It's such a deep field. It's such a deep field. And, I'm not getting plus money. Like, at least Xander Schauffele, top 10, and I'm getting plus money. Like, I like that bet better at plus 130.
Yeah, no, I do. But my point being is, you get the top 5 in ties, and he's always there, right, Gabe? And it's 20 cents. Whereas I know guys that have laid 150 in this bet. I know we always want plus money in golf, but I'm like, you know what? That little leeway with ties to me is worth laying 20 cents. It's not like it's 50. But conversely, like to your point, I already bet Schauffele top 10, and I think that is a great price, and I put some good change on it. You can put a parlay together with him top 20. I would not be shocked if he's on page 1 of the leaderboard, and it's going to be a very interesting tournament. This was a wild one at Pinehurst, Gabe, because some guys kind of out of the blue can win. I know the big names are going to be there, but this course is going to play very difficult. Who is going to have the patience when a ball rolls off the green when you're putting it and you're coming back? That's the whole thing. You can't have a mental breakdown, but these greens are like glass.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling as well. That's why I'm not in love with Scheffler here, that it's not going to be some like crazy long shot nobody, but I think I kind of get a feeling it's going to be a random player. Like I said, I've got Bryson. I got Bryson at 18-1. Brooks Koepka has won the U.S. Opens before, Cam. Tommy Fleetwood. You got Hideki. Justin Thomas. Is it Hovland's time? I doubt it's Max Homa here. Matthew Fitzpatrick. Is someone going to steal one here? You know what I mean? Like I said, I think it could be some random player here. Tony Finau's been playing good golf.
I can't believe you just said Matthew Fitzpatrick, because I was looking at some stuff, and I'm not one of these guys with a computer model or program, but I take a lot of notes, and I know what type of courses Matthew Fitzpatrick plays well on, and this is it. And he has one of the best patience game. Remember, Gabe, his major is a U.S. Open, and a U.S. Open is a tournament where pars are good. You don't need to go. There's no birdie fest here. The winning score of this tournament is not going to be 16 to 20 under or whatever. It's probably going to be around 8. You shoot 200 per round, you're probably going to be there. And I think Matthew Fitzpatrick is dangerous as hell. I found him at 50-1. I think he's been bet down to 45-1, but I think he's a great top 20 play. Crazy great price. But we'll have all the golf picks tomorrow on the show after the NBA game. And I like where you're going with Schauffele. I have him top 10, and Bryson in a couple matchup bets as well.
See, Heath Theegala is 50-1 to win the tournament. Hideki Matsuyama is 40-1. Talking about a steady player, but I think there's good odds on Tony Finau as well, 55-1. Jordan Spieth, I don't trust, is 60-1 right now. But listen, if Scotty Scheffler wins this, then that's just really going to be next level dominance. It'll be super impressive on such a difficult course. You have such a deep field here, but at plus 300, man, it's just, and you know what? If it's plus 300 at the Houston Open or one of these other sort of tournaments, then it's like, yeah, okay, you know what? You can live with it, or he's plus 475 or something like that. But at a U.S. Open, I can't justify it.
Another thing, Gabe, is look who's playing in this. The live guys aren't on those events. So now you're dealing with Koepka, DeChambeau, Rahm before he got away, all those other guys that have been there before. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of good live players. Cam Smith. I love Cam Smith this week. I'm telling you, this course is him. You know what it is, Gabe? It's got a lot of Australian, South African style to it. You could spray it a little bit, but you also have to be really, really good with your wedge and putter. Cam Smith's best traits, one of the best putters in the world, and great from chipping and getting out of danger. That'll bode well this week.
All right, so we'll have all our golf picks tomorrow. Hopefully Brady can join us. We'll see if Brady can join us right after the NBA game tomorrow night as well. 82-70 for the Seattle Storm right now with 2 minutes left in the game. So they're up by 12, and the Aces are trying to come back, but they're still down by 11. 83-72. With 5 minutes left. They're getting 9.5 points in this game right now. On the other side, we'll hit some baseball, and we'll get you caught up to date with some of the Euro numbers, as well as the Euro Cup set to kick off on Friday with Germany and Scotland.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
So the Euro Cup, as we were talking, is set to kick off on Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. The Germans are hosting Scotland. Germany are minus 350 favorites in the match. The draw is plus 500. Scotland are plus 800 on the money line to win in regulation. Germany is a top-tier team. They're one of the favorites to win the tournament. They haven't had a ton of success in recent international tournaments, but it is Germany. They are loaded. They're a younger team, and they are expected to do well. I do think on Thursday night we'll give some parlays and stuff, and maybe tomorrow as well. But I'm going to put together like a win the group parlay and qualification parlay. I do think Germany is going to win their group, and it's not a crazy price. It's like minus 350, minus 400. The group is Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. 3 of the top 4 teams advance. So Germany's going to advance, Switzerland's going to advance, and it's going to come down to Scotland and Hungary to see which one of those two can advance.
Scotland, is Scotland better than Hungary, Gabe? Slightly better?
I think it's a battle.
It really is.
A lot of people are predicting Hungary to advance.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to like goal differential, right? Don't get blown out, but Scotland don't get blown out. They just don't score. So I don't think they're going to get blown out. So it'll give them a chance as far as goal differential is concerned. But Germany and Switzerland are clearly the class of the group. And plus 280 right now to win the group. That's a great price. And you can parlay the group winners. But I got to get it right. And this stuff is tricky. And anything can happen in international football. And we've seen in the Euro Cup as well, there are upsets. Group B, Spain, Croatia. Italy's the defending champion, not getting a lot of love in Albania. Albania's in a lot of trouble in this group. So, the question is who's going to, but it matters. You want to win the group. You don't want to be the wild card, the 3rd seed, because you get a brutal matchup after. The next group, Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England. England are favored to win the tournament. And England, England are like the Cowboys, the Leafs, the whatever, the Range, the Yankees, like all rolled, the Cowboys all rolled into one. So they're always sort of heavily hyped. They are really good. Bellingham's amazing. They are really good, but they do have a lot of injuries. They're a younger team. They have a lot of injuries at the back end. And it's going to be pretty crazy to say, Cam, but I wouldn't be shocked if like England won the World Cup in 2026 in the U.S. It'd be a good spot for England to win, right? They're not going to win in somebody's hostile countries and stuff. Like I said, I think England are building towards this World Cup, and I think it actually could happen in 2026. But similar to Scotty Scheffler, you can't trust these guys at this price, to win this tournament.
I could trust Scotty Scheffler.
But you trust Scotty Scheffler more, yeah.
More than England. Yeah, you're damn right I do. You give me England to win or Scotty Scheffler, I'll take Scotty Scheffler. But I really like what you said about that. That is a great point. And they go in there, a lot of Brits in North America too. They get fired up and a lot of pressure in Europe, even though Germany's hosting, right? It's just one of those situations where you take the show on the road. I like your angle right there. I agree.
This is a big tournament, they are building, but it's a build up to the World Cup, right? It's a big, but it is a big tournament. Sort of like France. France do well at World Cups, but they don't do great in Euro Cups for whatever reason. They're the second choice. They're plus 400. Germany are the host. They're the third choice at plus 550. A very trendy team I see with a lot of the soccer experts is Portugal at plus 700. And Portugal have won the Euro Championship before. The team that I've got my eye on, and I got plus 850, is Spain. I just sort of think a lot of these other teams have, mini flaws about them. England are kind of hyped up. They're the favorites. France are always just going to be priced like this no matter what, even if they're going to win or they're not going to win. I think Germany will go far, but probably lose in like the semi or something like that. Portugal are good, but I don't know. I don't trust them to win the final. I kind of get the feeling that Spain are due for a win, Cam. And I'm getting plus 850 with Spain. That's my pick right now, Spain.
I just look at these other teams and the fact that England's number, I know they have talent. That's just wrong. I see a lot of those numbers that you like between like 7 and 10 with teams with a chance, but this thing's wide open, Morency. Any team can win. Yeah, I got to go see Portuguese Joe. Go down to the old supporters club. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love the Euros. We're not going to get a story like Greece again, though.
Yeah, Greece won the Euro before. That's what I'm saying. Like the Euro stuff happens in this tournament, right? They've actually beat Portugal twice in that tournament. But Greece were like 85-1, 90-1, and it actually crushed. This was like old bookie days. Bookies got crushed.
Yeah,
Every Greek person just bet Greece for the hell of it.